Legendary animals in the Bible. Some of the animals that we regard as legendary were in fact real. I've already done a video on dragons, which were in fact the same thing as dinosaurs. However, there are other animals mentioned in myth and legend that appear in the Bible. Some of them were hybrid animals, which were mixtures of different animals married together. I believe that these animals only existed because of Satan's tinkering about with the genetics of animals before the flood. Part of his aim was to destroy the pure genetic heritage of God's creation. This is one reason why God had to destroy all living land animals in the flood. Only genetically pure animals were allowed onto the ark. The Bible is clear that different types of animals should not be mated. Leviticus chapter 19 verse 19. Ye shall keep my statutes. Thou shalt not let thy cattle, that is beasts, gender with a diverse kind. Thou shalt not sow thy field with mingled seed, neither shall a garment mingled of linen and woollen come upon thee. Despite this, the memory of some of these hybrid animals seems to have lived on across the world on every continent. Here is a list of some of them as an example. There were in fact a multitude of such hybrids in folklore. The wiki page list of hybrid creatures in folklore gives a good sample of them. So anyway, here's the list. And you see, particularly in Egypt, there are a lot of these animals like the Anubis that had the head of a jackal, that was an Egyptian god. The Minotaur, which had the body of a human with the head, tail and occasional hindquarters of a bull. In fact, every culture in history seems to have had memories of these mixtures of animal and human, or different types of animals, and they all seem to be not good. Horus was another god that had a head of a falcon or a hawk. The harpy was half bird, half woman. Mermaids we've all heard about, but they seem to be kind of well remembered across the nations. Satyrs, they were originally an ancient Greek nature spirit with the body of a man, but with the long tail and pointed ears of a horse, and the list would go on and on and on and on. There's hundreds of them. So if you examine the lists of hybrid mythological creatures, it gives you an idea of what a horrible mess Satan would have made of the gene pool if he had not been stopped. So some animals that are legendary were allowed to survive. Dragons did survive the flood, but died out later, although much later than people think. Hybrid animals, as we've seen, were intentionally destroyed in the flood, but dragons were not hybrids. They are just what we know as dinosaurs. Other legendary animals existed. In fact, biblical writers mention at least 160 different animals specifically by name, and always the descriptions seem quite accurate, apart from those few animals that are regarded as legendary, and these are the Leviathan, which we've covered in a different video, the Behemoth, which we've already covered, dragons, the cockatrice, the phoenix, the satyr and the unicorn. So these are the animals that I will be examining in the next video. Each of them tells us something about God's purposes. So thank you for listening. If you found this video interesting, you can find more information at prophecy-workshop.com.